Hey, what's up? A-Aron here for another reaction to Angelina Jordan, and this one was a special request. I've got a lot of you request this, but this is specifically from Jim Rowe, and he said, I think it's time to buy you some more coffee for Angelina. If you want to see a child prodigy at work, I recommend you check her out at age 9, jamming with the band of Jay Hawkins' Portrait of a Man, which Angelina changes the lyrics to Portrait of a Child. This is the same band that she recorded I Put a Spell on You with. Some extra notes for you because she is speaking in Norwegian in this video. At the first, she asks them if she could start over and the band just keeps playing, but as it comes back around, they cue her in and she takes off again. About halfway through, she hits some pretty low notes and turns to the piano player and tells him she thinks it needs to go up a tone. Then at the end, she adds what she thinks the ending should sound like. As far as we know, this was never perfected or performed, but it gives you a look into her creative process. Here's the link to it. Outstanding. And so definitely looking forward to this. Obviously, when she did Screamin' Jay Hawkins' version of I Put a Spell on You, that just shattered Earth. And that was certainly one of my favorite reactions. And it seems like it was one of your favorite reactions from me. But my gosh, that was unbelievable. And so she's taken to Screamin' Jay here. And several of you have requested this. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Sounds like this is one that is just absolute fire. And it's a rehearsal. So that'd be really cool to see the kind of that creative process. And so, super quick before we dive in, I have created a membership for Angels specifically. There's more details in the description. That's where the specific request came from. And let's dive right in. Oh. Okay, so that must be where she said, hey, let's start over. Okay, so here they come back to the top here. Right in here, coming up. Nice.
Who was taking all the heartache and all the pain instead? I'm using all colors of blue. and I keep turning away. I'm just wrong because I have hid on myself. I am painting in oil a portrait, and a portrait, and I'm the child.
Oh, this girl. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so cool to see that. I've seen several of her rehearsals before. But typically they're just running through. There's not that little bit of a creative process, or at least I understand, or understanding, because speaking in Norwegian. So this was really fascinating. We saw Sarah at one point there. Um, well, so let's just start first of all talking about, the fact that she's changing the lyrics from Portrait of a Man from Screaming Jay Hawkins to Portrait of a Child. Right? And so obviously she is a child, and so I think that's, perhaps what she relates better to, but I think it's deliberate not just from that perspective, but it creates more innocence, right? The concept is, love and complexity and just brokenhearted, and I mean, there's so many I want to say complexities, but it's not like challenging metaphorically or otherwise from the original to understand, but um yeah, I'm not quite sure how to describe the original other than just it's so emotionally involved, right? But here with the child, she's showing this complexity that it's almost like from the perspective of the child that you don't fully understand things, and so there's this um misunderstanding or of the portrait and painting it, not misunderstanding, but just ambiguity around being that innocent child. I didn't look to see if she changed a whole bunch of the lyrics or what, to be honest, but I'm sure she did change some of them. I definitely heard, kind of the majority of the chorus sounding the same, right? Oil canvas and so forth. Um, and that ending. So per the notes, it sounded like at the end she was saying, "Hey, this is how it should go." And I love how she really emphasized the, of a child at the very end, right?
Portrait, and
I'm a child, and I'm a child.
I'm the child.
Yeah, so she emphasized both I'm and child there. And then we saw Sarah at one point here. Yeah, and so okay. Um and the band sounds pretty tight. I'm not like crazy impressed by them or anything, but they sound good. The pianist sounds really good. I love some of his fills in there. Um, and that we heard so she'll sing and then the sax player comes in and kind of repeats that. He quotes it essentially.
I'm painting in oil.
She's so comfortable at that lower register. She sounds so good. And you do hear quite a bit of range already in this particular song actually. But yeah, I'm glad I went all the way back because at the beginning when she sung up, she did a little bit of a like a inflection upward. Let's go back to it. I can maybe talk about it when we get there.
A portrait of a child.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. And I could be wrong, but I feel like this is slightly slower than the original. Um, and while we're commenting on that, here we are again, another minor tune, in three again. So it's got that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, feel. Um, which is not uncommon at all in jazz. Especially when it comes to minor blues. And it definitely feels very bluesy, and you feel that and hear that with the whole tune. And it's really laid back, but she seems to have such comfort with these. And I feel like getting that three feel takes some time and experience, and then to get that minor where she feels so comfortable in, um, it's just crazy. She's so far beyond her years here. I mean, so far. It's just absurd.
Who was taking all the heartache?
I think here's where we get that response from the sax player.
All the pain instead.
Yeah, and see, I don't think this is a rehearsal, so it would make perfect sense that that's the case. But you see, as she sings that pain, he kind of looks up to imaginary place as he's kind of listening, saying, I think at the moment he's coming up with that idea. And then she looks over at him like, wow, that's cool. Um,
All the
so I believe that is actual improvisation here,
pain
right here.
instead. I'm using all.
And one other thing I wanted to comment here is I think there's a couple extra chords that they added from the original. This original is just almost back and forth between, um, you know, two chords essentially, and then occasionally as it changes up, so there's a moving one that drives it. I'm not going to get too technical on you, but I think they added a couple here to it, and it creates a little bit more driving focus for her that is more typical of the traditional major blues.
Colors of blue. I have
Right there. Yeah, so as she gets into the upper register, she actually handles that real nicely. She backs out a little bit of it in terms of volume and kind of comes back into it. Sure, she's got that pitch. I think it's also effective as well. But that's not the bend I was talking about. That's so low for a little girl.
I can tell she thinking that I
I think that's where she's saying, let's take it up a whole note. It's quite low, don't you think?
see death in his eyes. Oh yes, I know
Right there,
when
right there.
she
Like her voice almost cracks up, but if you listen to it, it's clearly deliberate. It sounds so good. She flips her up register. Um, that is such an experienced veteran thing to do.
his eyes. Oh yes, I know
Oh,
when she's crying.
and what's even more so, I can't recall the original version, but that is absolutely the type of thing that Screaming Jay Hawkins would do as he's screaming and going. Um, okay, I think we'll stop there. Wow. I mean, she's carrying that soul, that old soul, if you will. That feel, that just laid back blues and just really feeling it and channeling. Screaming Jay here, who clearly is someone she admires at this point. And I feel like that's such a good initial early on repertoire to the great legends of jazz she had been studying and so forth. So, but again, once you get to this age of 9 with her, there's I mean, it's nearly flawless every time, first of all, even just in a rehearsal. And it's just a matter of understanding what she's focusing on and what she's learning, right? Um, Gosh, I would love to see this performed today and just to hear her unleash. Well, okay, that's it for this one. I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you much. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And then again, if you're an angel, you want more of Angelina and so forth, please do check out the membership. And we will see you in the next one. Thank you.